Namaste friends, my name is Dr. Vikrant Singh Tomar. I am convener United Consciousness. United Consciousness is a global organization promoted by Project Self-Incorporation USA and Bharat. Dear friends, some time back, one news shook the world. In the war zone of Syria, a 3-year-old child, badly wounded, was admitted to the hospital. Doctors could not save him, but before his death, that child looked at the doctor and said, "I am going to tell everything to the God." And the world really stood still. Every new child is a message of divine to us that the Creator is still not upset with us. But the mindset of division leads to struggles and leads to wars. The time has come that we should see oneness beyond these divisions, because we are already one in our worries for our kids. We are one and similar in our concerns for our family. We are one in our pursuit of happiness. We are one in our quest of peace. We are one in our struggle of avoiding pain. We are one in our concern for future. We are one in our consciousness. So dear friends, united consciousness is not the way, it is the only way to save humanity today. It is a way for a new world order. It is a way where united consciousness envisage a new world where education will bring forth the best in everybody. It will liberate people, where the focus of education will be life, not only livelihood. Where in schools, kids will be taught that happiness and peace is the dashboard of life. Where the language of superlatives and comparatives will not be used often. Where economics will talk more about gross domestic happiness rather than gross domestic product. Where war will be taught only in the books of history. Where stress and tension will remain only in the books of physics, not in humanity. Where depression will go back to find its place in the books of economics, not in human psychology. Where nations will be the units of economic development, social and ethnic upliftment, but not the boundaries of human freedom and human expression. Where we share this planet with other species, where we, instead of talking only on democracy, we will be talking on ecocracy, where we will incorporate all the plants, nature, animals, and give them their righteous place, their appropriate place in this planet, where even they are applauded and respected as a being on this planet. So dear friends, the time has come to choose, and there are two choices. One choice is united consciousness, and another is divisive catastrophe. Because we make choices, and finally choices make us. So let's choose wisely. Let's choose love. Let's choose togetherness. Let's choose united consciousness. In order to choose united consciousness and celebrate it, we are organizing on 11th, 12th, 18th and 19th of December a global spiritual fiesta, United Consciousness Conclave 2021. So let's together explore united consciousness with amazing speeches and panel discussion. Experience united consciousness through meditation and yoga, and express united consciousness through dance and music. Around 100 countries will be participating in some or the other delegates or representatives of around 100 countries will be there as spectators or participants in this global program. I welcome all of you to sit back, relax, and enjoy this beautiful journey of united consciousness. I would also like to thank Indian Council of Cultural Relationships to promote this event, to support this event world over. Thank you very much.
I'm very honored and delighted to welcome our performance from the organization Play for Change. Play for Change is not only the organization, but it is a movement created to inspire and connect the world through music and break the boundaries. They reimagine a world connected by music to spread a global message of hope and unity. Playing for Change was born in 2002 as a shared vision between co-founder Mark Johnson and Whitney Kroenke. This musical journey resulted in the award-winning documentary, A Cinematic Discovery of a Street Music. Today we have a performance from them on Chanda Mama. In the group we have Damien Mizat from France, Junior Kisan Vega from Congo, Luis Mahalanga from Zimbabwe, Marcelo from Argentina, Noel from Argentina, Ronaldo from Cuba, Roberto from Italy, Rupak from India, Santiago from Argentina, Sibongisne from South Africa, Sinabwe from South Africa, the Oneness Corps from India, Tula from Israel, Tusharlal from India, Palau from Portugal, and Stefano from Italy. So, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for the group Play for Change. On behalf of United Consciousness, I thank Play for Change musical group for coming onto the platform of United Consciousness and giving such a wonderful performances. Thank you so much.
Italian born and raised, Valentina spent 24 years of her life in Kenya as a businesswoman and eventually moved to South Africa in 2017. Mother of three beautiful and accomplished souls, Valentina, following her awakening later in life, established the first pranic energy healing center in South Africa in 2018 named Wings and Me. As a result, she started opening her own spiritual gifts, becoming an internationally certified pranic energy healer, serving a wide variety of patients and students. She also holds several diplomas, including one in psychotherapy, dream analysis, and crystal healing. Through her own spiritual evolution, she has recently developed the Inner Active Mastery Therapy, abbreviated to IAM, which she defines as the new level of psychology. This is a therapeutic journey applying quantum healing, psychology, spiritual teachings, and ancient knowledge to assist hundreds of people across the world healing from their traumatic emotional experiences in 10 easy steps. Envisioning and actualizing the creation of the non-profit organization, the Spiritual Council, in early 2021 has been the natural evolution of her journey to serve others. This time through helping humanity understand that we are not separated beings, but that we are all part of the same human race, and as such, we are co-creating and evolving into higher frequencies of existence together as one. As the executive director of the Spiritual Council in Africa, Valentina is also an advisor to the United Consciousness Board in creating the Manual for Happiness. She has also appeared in numerous online awareness events, sharing her knowledge and love with others.
Thank you, Vikrant and the United Consciousness team for this warm introduction. It is always an immense pleasure to be part of the event, as this is my second consecutive year and I couldn't be happier for this repeated opportunity to share with you in consciousness. This time I'm speaking directly to all of you who, just like me, are suffering from anxiety, and I hope to be able to help you understand its purpose in our lives right now, and most importantly, on how to respond to it. I'm saying our lives because anxiety is real in my life as we speak. It is real in the lives of many of my family members, and it has been for generations. And so it is in the lives of my patients, and I made a point to understand it fully instead of just putting up a fight with it. Anxiety isn't just having trouble breathing. Anxiety is waking up at 3 a.m. from dead sleep because your heart is racing. Anxiety erupts suddenly for no apparent reason. Anxiety is stressing over things that may or might not be real. Anxiety is questioning your fate. How could my Creator allow me to feel this way? Anxiety is changing energy from positive to uncontrollable fear in a matter of seconds. Anxiety is an uncontrollable tremor. It's crying real and painful tears. Anxiety is nauseous, it's crippling, it's dark. It's having to make up excuses after an attack. It is fear, it is concern. Anxiety is physically and emotionally draining. It is raw, it is real, it is a fight with your spouse even if you are not angry. And it's breaking you at the slightest annoyance. It is a flashback. It is a lot like going on, what's wrong with me? And I don't know how and why as an answer. Now, anxiety, I've understood, is predominantly the body's reaction to the mental mind space that is outside of the present moment. As when we are in the correct timeline, actually anxiety feels like disappearing. But let me give you an example. Let's say I'm driving and suddenly I space out and I start thinking about something I did 3 days ago that I probably perceived wasn't to my satisfaction or I felt I could have done it better. So, in that space of a millisecond, this is what happens in my manifested reality. I stop being in the present moment by not consciously concentrating on the action of driving. I fell into the past and I started living the emotion of guilt of that time in this present moment. I judge myself for what I perceive could have done better or handled better 3 days ago. And then this judgment created resentment, and our soul, that is pure light, doesn't like it. So, feeling of uneasiness starts, the breath becomes erratic, anxiety strikes. Panic attack may ensue right there because I also realize that I'm not paying conscious attention to the road and I may get into an accident. And then the chest becomes tight, the heart is racing, we feel like an imminent heart attack is coming. And then I pull over and call someone to help me calm down, or I call an ambulance to make me go to the emergency room. Does this sound familiar to anyone? And all I did was losing touch for a moment with my current timeline because in the mind everything happens very fast. And I lost touch with the timeline that I was in, which was driving. Now, bottom line, to avoid the attack, all I needed to do was to keep driving consciously and concentrating on the road, on the cars, on pedestrian crossing, on my surroundings and my action. But my anxious monkey mind decided otherwise, with the unpleasant result that I've just described. As you've noticed, anxiety is caused by internal nervous system reaction to events that happen within the mind. And the brain is perceiving different elements which it does not understand and thinks that they are real, and thus making the person live that experience in that instant. People that struggle with anxiety tend to perceive normal life situation always threatening. And as the body cannot distinguish between real danger and what we perceive as threatening, it activates what we call the flight or fight response in both cases. And this is why anxiety sufferers can be anxious daily. But the point in which anxiety becomes a condition or a disorder is when it starts to affect your life. If anxiety is negatively impacting your relationship, your work, your daily task, then this can feel far from normal. Now, today's presentation will help you understand this perspective from a high point of view. But also, what is the correlation between anxiety and spirituality? Because today, that is what we're here to talk about. Many people right now, like me, who are on a spiritual development path, are either aware of it or not, complain about being constantly anxious as not being able to resolve these unpleasant feelings that are actually creeping their life. As I explain this concept, just keep in mind the body, mind, spirit connection. The body, the mind, and the spirit are just one entity and are in constant communication with each other because we've lost our capacity to connect with our higher soul. So the body becomes the GPS, it becomes the tool used by the soul to communicate with us throughout our existence. Spirituality, you can look at anxiety as a communication tool then used by our soul to make us aware that we are not in the correct path. Meaning that our spirit is using anxiety, which is felt in the body, to loudly communicate with us in the present moment. And such, we shouldn't look at it like something which is wrong and should be avoided, but embrace it and use it as a tool for self-development and self-growth. When the bout of anxiety occurs, it is just a warning sign for us to change the path that we are currently on. And this is why it serves that certain purpose. It is not there to show you things which you might not be able to do or which are not doing right, but it is simply there to notify you that you are not on the correct path for your soul at that time. Now, the moment I realized that my anxiety is a signal rather than an enemy, I stopped fighting the symptoms and instead began using them really to help me overcome the mental condition. I keep this mental record of when my anxiety goes up, down, when it's at worse or when it gets better, just to help me eliminate or change the things that were making me anxious. So, for example, anxiety has helped me realize that I'm more anxious if I talk negatively about people. And so that makes me stop making negative comments in conversation. I also notice that I feel a lot calmer on the days that I keep myself busy with physical tasks like working out, cleaning the house, or cooking. And also being in nature is one of the few times I really feel at my best because nature is grounding. In that moment, the moment you're in nature, you're just in touch with nature. You don't have time to allow your mind to wander into negative thoughts. So this understanding can develop in a better use of anxiety than it is actually currently understood. Now, you will start to notice and understand through your own experience that when anxiety, these moments appear, it is something that will tell you what you may be able to do next within that certain present moment. When the anxiety moment appears, it gives you the opportunity to really look at your life circumstances, noticing what you're thinking, where you're heading, and where you want to go. It actually gives you the opportunity to discern and make the better choice. And please be conscious and aware of these anxiety moments when they appear. And to be able to do that, you need to practice more mindfulness and learn how to meditate as often as possible so you can become more aware of what is happening within. Now, current medicine treats anxiety heads on as a common mental illness, treating it with both therapy and medication, the latter having more side effects than benefit. But I will talk and touch on this topic again later on. But in my opinion, we should approach anxiety with love and grace instead, as it is that love aspects that will help increase the clarity in which you might be able to move to the next level on your journey. So, viewing anxiety from the mental mind causes more anxiety and leads to suffering. And remember, at the beginning, I promised that I will be giving you solutions to, not just explanation of the phenomenon. So, the key is to disidentify yourself from this attack. Although you might still be in the position of the attack, try and become more aware of what you are thinking, why you're thinking it, where the thought is going, and where you actually want that thought to go. Then, instead of going into the mental mind space and coming up with a solution, move your awareness into the heart center right here. The solution for this will be brought to you by the love of the heart center. Understand that the heart center is one of the most important tools that can be used in any given situation. And this is the original knowledge from our soul, as the knowledge from your mind is mind knowledge base and is on the human understanding base. So, as you are in the heart center, that will help alleviate the existing anxiety and give you a clear perspective in which you're able to properly identify where you would like to go in your life, why you are not going there yet, or if the route that you're taking is not the right one. So, learn how to go within as we always hold all the answers at all times. Understand that this can only be seen properly if you perceive anxiety as a tool and not as a form of suffering. Anxiety, like any other illness, must be embraced as a loving messenger. Embracing element of illnesses from a loving approach gives incredibly valuable perspective versus the fear-based approach of the same. This is why I want to encourage you to take a more loving-based approach in resolving illnesses, as this will dramatically change the quality of your life. The approach is always important, as this is the energy in which you created the results. If you create something out of fear, it will only cause more fear. If you create something out of love, it will help you alleviate and create more love. And this is how you will be able to get over certain illnesses in life. However, I understand it might still be challenging, but the path in which you take on this challenge will be better as the love-based approach is taken, because it is a much more natural part and it is our natural state of being. Now I want you to take into a more practical approach in the event that you are overwhelmed by a panic attack, as it might be difficult at the beginning to actually be calm enough to enter that heart space and speak to the energy of anxiety from there. So just pay attention and take notes if need be. So the charge of the panic attack is identical to the charge of any creation. So sometimes the mind would like to create certain circumstances which might create stress, as I explained in my first example. So when the mind-based form creates this distress moment, the body reacts accurately to the distress moment. It is hard for the individual to disidentify with the distress moment, as it was seen as a visible threat currently happening to the body, to the mind, and the soul. So a very specific thing should be done in this instance. We should be taking the breath into account. The breath, yes, is one of the biggest ways in which to alleviate the panic attack feeling. So as the body goes into an hyperventilating state, the actual control of the breath is completely lost. And as soon as the body goes into the hyperventilating state, that is when things go worse. And this is exactly why the breath should be taken back into control as soon as possible. So as soon as we can start to identify that we are hyperventilating, going into a state of panic, we need to just concentrate on taking long deep breaths right in that particular moment and try to calm ourselves down through the breath. And this needs to be done before we delve into identifying any situation more clearly. I personally use the pranic energy healing breathing technique that just consists in taking long deep breaths in at the count of 6, then you hold the breath at the count of 3, and then releasing the breath slowly to the count of 6, and then holding it again and continuing the cycle for as long as it needs for you to calm down. As soon as you calm down, as you identify that you are in anxiety mode and you've done your breathing exercise, feeling calmer, take time now. Don't wait for another time to notice your feeling and ask yourself, why am I being anxious at this stage? Is it because I have been thinking about something? Have my thoughts been causing my anxiety? And if the answer is yes, it gives an indication that I should move into a different direction and not keep on the current path. Use anxiety as your GPS and just follow through. We are here to experience and to expand and not to stall. Ask yourself, what choices have I made that are not resonating with me? Am I in a job, in a relationship, a thought pattern that are not in alignment with my higher purpose? And my higher purpose is of growth and spiritual development. Remember that. Am I hindering my growth through thoughts, situations, the people I surround myself with, the food I eat, or substances I take that are detrimental to my expansions? And once you have identified, and make sure you're honest with yourself, what is not in alignment, work towards doing things differently. So at that point, anxiety will no longer have to be used by your soul to show you what you need to shift. Now, I have briefly mentioned earlier about taking medication for anxiety, and I feel the need to go further with this explanation as I haven't chosen this incarnation to stall, but to grow as a soul. So, taking medication for anxiety, the long-term effect could be quite detrimental actually. As soon as the body starts to become addicted to these certain substances, it develops a dependency on the substances. This means that natural form of healing through inner healing and introspection also become less effective, as the body would see an easy out solution with the medication, which in truth will not help the soul in its growth process. It is this intrinsic understanding that has actually made me more interested in self-development than medicating myself, as the medication brings only a temporary solution. Since anxiety, all it desires is to bring us these opportunities for us to identify where we would like to go forward. It is also showing us the direction to avoid going forward. So avoiding this introspection actually may create further anxiety moving on. So in conclusion, I invite you to stay grounded daily and stay present in this moment, because you can only grow, heal and thrive in this present moment. The past has passed. The future can only be created by your own thoughts and action in this now moment. If you're interested in learning on how to apply mindfulness and grounding to your daily life and would like a copy of my Grounding Hacks ebooks, you're invited to get in touch with the organizer of this event and request a copy. It is currently just selling on a special offer at $15. I want to thank you for giving me your undivided attention, as I truly wish for everyone on this planet to keep expanding in unity consciousness, and this can only happen through individual spiritual development in this now moment. And if you have enjoyed this interaction and would like a transcript of it, kindly get in touch with the organizer of this event, as it would be my honor to provide it to you. Namaste.
On behalf of United Consciousness, I thank Miss Valentina for her exhilarating performance. Thank you so much.
I feel highly honored in welcoming our esteemed guest, who is a Buddhist monk. He is Ben Geshe Doji Damdul. He has done his Geshe Lampera degree in 2002 from Dreping Luzeling Monastic University. Geshe Doji Damdul is a director in Tibet House, a culture center of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, since 2005. When Geshe Ji has served as the official translator to His Holiness the Dalai Lama, serving as a fellow in Cambridge University, England in 2003, he was appointed as a visiting fellow at Delhi University to give lectures in 3 of the university's department, philosophy, psychology and the Buddhist studies. He was involved in working on several important books of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, such as Beyond Religion and Emotional Awareness. He is in the process of writing 2 important books, one on journey into the paradox of brain and mind, and the other, what constitutes the ultimate reality, the effect of understanding the ultimate reality. He gives lectures and lead philosophies and psychology classes in different universities like Delhi University and Jawaharlal Nehru University and Tibet House, Delhi. Geshe-laji's passion is to help students gain deep understanding of the Nalanda tradition of Buddhist philosophy and imbue that knowledge with the heart of Buddhi Chitta so that practitioners can perform their own quantum into the path of enlightenment. Geshe-laji's knowledge of science and interactions with world-renowned physicists gave him the unique ability to teach Buddhist philosophy with a modern twist, and many of his non-Tibetan students appreciate that. So, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together and welcome Wen Geshe Doji Damdul from Tibet House.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, all of you, all the viewers of this program conducted by United Consciousness Conclave. And I'm extremely grateful to Dr. Vikranji and his team, Ms. Simran. The topic for today, my talk is Tibet spirituality and holistic living. In fact, for Tibet, it was 7th century AD, before which Tibet was a very different country as compared to what it was like 70 years ago, before the invasion of Tibet by the Communist Chinese in 1940s, 47, 49. And so Tibet, we see, I can talk to you in two different phases. One before 7th century AD, and the other between 7th century till 1945, let's say. 45, why I picked up 45 was for the reason that the Communist Chinese annexed Tibet in 1940, around 1945. They started invading. And finally, officially, it is said that His Holiness, after leaving Tibet, there's a time Tibet was lost completely in 1959. But before that, already invasion started. Before 7th century AD, what was Tibet? And today, wherever you go in the world, be it in India or America, Japan, or wherever, if somebody meets with a Tibetan, there is the people have some form, they've created impression of what a Tibetan looks like. The first thing they see is in the mind, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, who they see as embodiment of compassion and dialogue. And then anybody who sees people like me, or anybody, and even a layperson, a man or women, people have expectation that they're very gentle, very compassionate, and believing in dialogue. It's a great compliment to the Tibetans. Do you think that this was Tibet before 7th century AD? Answer is no. Before 7th century AD. 7th century AD, why I said 7th century AD was that 7th century AD was the time of the Tibetan emperor by the name King Songtsen Gampo. This Tibetan king, he was so extremely aggressive. Of course, there's great gentleness there. At the same time, as a king, just as the neighboring countries, they were so aggressive, expansionist, he was also there to make sure that you are defended. And then likewise, he was very powerful, to the extent that he in fact conquered many parts of China then. That was 7th century, which means that in a way it was very aggressive. country, just then believe that Tibetan people then very aggressive, like Genghis Khan in Mongolia. And then what happened as why the 7th century became the turning point? 7th century, then the role of India came into being to the Tibetan civilization. India, from Nalanda Monastic University, the great scholars, the great enlightened beings, they were being invited. Particularly, the starting point was 7th century AD. 8th century marks such golden era for the transformation of the minds of the Tibetan people because of the Indian great masters like Bodhisattva Shantrakshita and his student Acharya Kamalashil. So the Indian thoughts, Indian minds, the great Indian minds, they really influenced the Tibetan people. And what do we see of the Tibetan people now? The impression the world has of the Tibetan people now. It is purely the Tibetan people, modified version of Tibetan people, modified by the Indian great masters like Bodhisattva Shantrakshita, who all came from Nalanda Monastic University. Unfortunately, Nalanda Monastic University, while it was such an incredible storehouse of knowledge, the brilliant philosophy, psychology, metaphysics, medicine, astrology, all gone. This is an incredible great loss of legacy for the world, for India. And Tibet, fortunately, His Holiness the Dalai Lama sometimes jokingly said that the Tibetans are very genuine and obedient students of the Indian great masters. We kept this tradition, rich tradition of ahimsa, rich tradition of compassion of India, refrigerated in Tibet for the last many centuries. So what we have today, the impression people get today is simply that they're replicas of the Indian compassion and ahimsa brought from Nalanda Monastic University by the great Indian masters such as Bodhisattva Shantrakshita, Acharya Kamalashil, and Bodhisattva Adishadipangara Shri Jnana in the 11th century AD. So you may be wondering, what is that thing which is so special about the Tibetan tradition? I said, there's nothing original about Tibetans. It's all that the Tibetans are very loyal to the great Indian masters. That's the only thing that Tibetans have, and because of which we're able to maintain, preserve this rich culture and tradition. So with this, you may be wondering, what is that tradition? What is that tradition which gives such impression to the people that look at His Holiness the Dalai Lama, everybody loves him. And the common Chinese, they are so afraid of His Holiness. Anybody he meets, everybody feels glued to him, so that we are losing friends. So this is the impression. So what is that? What is the secret of this? So for this, we need to keep in mind that what the Buddha said, that the need for us to be very objective and open-minded. We should maintain an open mind to any kind of knowledge. If that is missing, if we follow blindly, then everything's gone. So need an open mind to take anything good. Because when I'm hungry, one time I received a call from one of my friends, somebody who studies with me, Buddhist philosophy. And the lady, one early morning, called me and said, Gishila, I'm going to give up Buddhism. I said, that's fine, but may I know why? And again said, Gishila, I'm going to give up Buddhism. I said, why? It's fine, you can leave Buddhism, it doesn't matter. Why? And she said that for the last 3 years, I've been praying to Buddha, I've been praying to Tara, and then my prayers are not answered. So I said, what's your prayer? And she said that I've been praying that my brother should get a job and he's not getting a job for the last 3 years. I said, okay, now I understand why you're Buddhist. So you become a Buddhist because you want a job for your brother. I said that if you want a job for your brother, don't become a Buddhist. If you are hungry, don't become a Buddhist. Go to the kitchen. Don't follow Buddha. If you're sick, don't follow Buddha. Go to hospital. Likewise, if your brother wants a job, don't become a Buddhist. Tell your brother, don't go to the pubs, don't go to nightclubs. Instead, study intensely, crack the competitive exams, and get a decent job. This is what I told her. So, but this openness is required. And this tradition of the openness was what marks the fabric of the Nalanda tradition, which once thrived from the 1st century AD through to 13th century AD in India. And it disappeared because of facing the threats, facing the annexation, facing the destruction from the external forces. So with this, the benchmark or the hallmark of this tradition is that we have to acknowledge that we are all suffering beyond the international level, national level, community level, even at home, domestic violence. These are things that we have to acknowledge. Once you acknowledge that, are you happy with this? Do you want this? Do you want strain, tension between the nations? Do you want it? No. Do you want, say, the corrosive feelings, the domestic violence at home? No. Your children, do they want to see their parents fighting all the time? No. The children, do they want to see their mother being beaten up by the father? No. Do the parents want to see their children going to alcoholism? No. These are the problems that we have acknowledged. Once you acknowledge that, then the next point is the only when you acknowledge that you are ill, then you will go to hospital. You look for the remedies. So what is the remedy? This point. So for this matter, this is where your mind is involved. Your mind is involved. To be happy, not to be happy. Happy, unhappy, these are the resultant states. And happiness is given rise to by a certain set of causes. Miseries, the pain, tension also give rise to by certain set of causes. So within the mind, we see that there are causes responsible for the results, desirable results and undesirable results we are experiencing. The next question is, what are the causes? This next question. So for that matter, given that there's the constraint of time, I'm going to make it very quick that finally, that this mind, we see that I don't want suffering, which means I want to be freed from the suffering, from the COVID-19. COVID-19, the universally across the humanity, be it Buddhists, Hindus, Muslims, Jains, Christians, Jews, Baha'is, Parsis, non-Buddhists or non-believers, everyone was getting the feeling of uncertainty feeling. Now, Omicron variant, everybody's scared. The nations are scared. Again, that the travel bans all happened. This is universal. So with this, there's a fear there. In other words, nobody wants the fear. So your job is to get rid of the fears, number one. Number two is that I want happiness. For example, let's say that when a small child comes to you and gives a small flower, you're so happy, so touched, smiles at you, so happy, so touched. And the child is seeing the parents is so beautiful. Everything dissolves. All these complexities dissolve when the child meets the mother. All the stress dissolves, tension dissolves. So the expansion of happiness happens with the love and affection. So the secret of the Nalanda tradition is where the whole design of the education curriculum is built on to nurture these two things, on to inspire these two things. One to create the fearlessness, and the other to create the expansive happiness. For that matter, the fearlessness, how is that created? So this is, for example, let's say that people play a prank. What's prank? Is to just is to create a fun, to make a fear in somebody, to your mom, dad, son, child, brother, sister, and so forth. You create this the fear. Why? By distorting the thinking, cognitive thinking of the other person. You come in the form of a ghost, and the other person is there's a ghost there, there's a fear. And cognitively, when that error is fixed, cognitively one realizes this is not ghost, this is my brother, then your fear is oh. In other words, cognitive distortions are responsible for creating the fear. How to fix this cognitive distortion is the study of the deeper study of the philosophy, which is grounded on facts. This one. So, in other words, all the fears that we see in the dream will come to hold only when you wake up. Wake up from the sleep of ignorance is number one. And how to wake up? This is where the deeper, extensive philosophy was being discussed in the Nalanda tradition. This is number one. Then number two is the how to expand your happiness. So expansion of happiness is not a base of expanding your circle of love and affection, which Albert Einstein very clearly indicated that all our miseries are because of our imprisoning ourselves in the optical illusion of we, I, you, we, and they. This optical delusion. This optical delusion, he said, is that it simply imprisons you in in the circle with very less number of people around you. What should you do now? If you don't want to be in this prison, expand the circle of your compassion towards others. So, how to expand this compassion? Expand the compassion. No, this is not have. Oftentimes, many people they talk about we should be compassionate, we should be compassionate, don't be selfish. But how not to be selfish? How not to be compassionate? How to be compassionate? I want to be compassionate. I don't want to be selfish, but it intuitively, it instinctively, it happens. No, you shouldn't be selfish. It should so get bad. It's against this, against this, against this religion, that religion, your religion, so forth. This does not help. So we need education, how to broaden the heart of compassion. For that, today, His Holiness the Dalai Lama came up with the universal program known as universal ethics or the secular ethics, ethics beyond religion, irrespective of who the other person is, whether you're a believer, non-believer. It is anybody should be able to embrace this universal ethics, ethics of love. Love is not of the value of one particular religion, is of all. So with this in mind, His Holiness proposes the universal ethics, the secular ethics as a part of program, and now it's being implemented in many of the universities across the world. And so these two things are the secrets of the Tibetan, let's say, the gentleness and the calmness. And the origin of this is the great Nalanda tradition of India. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Vigranji. Thank you, Ms. Simran ji, and thank you all the viewers. Thank you so much.
Thank you, respected Geshe-la-ji. So beautifully you mentioned about the story of Tibet in very brief, and 7th century AD as a turning point. So it reminds me, as you said, that 15th century BC was a renaissance in India. Then 6th century BC, Lord Buddha came. But then you also added that in 7th century AD also a renaissance of Tibet came, which reinforced the message of oneness and togetherness. And so beautifully you mentioned about that they were loyal to the masters, and that loyalty helped them to preserve the tradition. So I'm sure that audience from all parts of the world will not pray for Buddha and Tara to get a job. Rather than they will pray for it to get enlightenment for self. And as a remedy, you suggested from fear to freedom, and the walk goes through The path grows through study, philosophy of the grounded facts. And second, to expand the circle of love. And for that, as you quoted Einstein, that come out of the delusion and go for universal ethics, as His Holiness mentioned. Thank you very much. We are really honored with your presence.
Thank you.
We are delighted to thank Geshela ji for sharing his view. Thank you so much. I feel delighted in welcoming our next guest who believes in the simple philosophy that when you understand your body, you understand your mind. And when the mind can be understood in its complete totality, then the whole experience within and without will be transformed. He is Mr. Deep Kumar. He is the founder and creator of the Deep Yoga method, Physio Yoga therapy, and Deep Conscious Vinyasa, all which works precisely on organic ailments and conscious mind and are healing for the physical, mental, and emotional well-being. He has trained hundreds of physiotherapists in addition to the thousands of yoga teachers. His teachings, which follows a balance of the yogic and scientific background, always carries the fragrance of deep lovingness towards the body and profound wisdom of the soul. Mr. Deep Kumar has studied philosophy and religion at Punjabi University, studied advanced studies in yoga at Kevalavya Dhama Yoga Institute, and also went to Osho International Meditation Resort, Pune, India. So, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together to welcome Mr. Deep Kumar.
Namaste, dear friends. Namaste to all of you, and from my heartily regards to Vikranji and Simranji for bringing this platform for all over the world, where this beautiful conscious study of inner can be shared in such a beautiful way. So thank you to all of you again. So yes, my whole study has been about the body, and through the body into the breath, and through the breath into the mind, and through the mind entering into the different realms of the place. But again, the base is body. So from my side, I will say that yoga in all the forms, where one form is philosophy, one form is exercises like practical version, asana, and another is breathing view, and then moving towards pratyahar, dharana, dhyan, and samadhi. This complete yoga, 8 limbs, are the solution for the body, solution for the mind, and solution for the problems of the soul. So I am here to give you a very gentle and a beautiful but a brief session about yoga postures. But this session is not only about yoga postures. I will take just a moment so you can understand, and then we will enter into it. Our body, our breath, our mind, and soul, they are not separate things. So they are one. If something happens on the one side, ripple goes to the end. So if you work on the body, you are working on the breath, you are working on the mind too. So the common humanity right now is suffering through so many things, especially on body level. The common, because right now is the time for laptop and mobiles and gadgets. So knee pain, a lot of sitting, back pain, shoulder pain. These common pains are there in a human body. So when these pains are there, then breath cannot be comfortable. It will be shallow, which will give rise to anxiety and stress. And when these things are there, to sit and go for meditation can be a little difficult. So this simple session where you are going to actually a healing session for your knee, for your back, and for your shoulders in a very beautiful way. But at the same time, you guys will pay attention to your breath, that your breath is coming through your diaphragm, inhale, and your exhalation is also coming from the diaphragm. So when you are working on the body with such a beautiful aligned way for healing of these joints, and the purpose is bringing you towards the breath. So at the moment you are aware about your breath also, and you are enjoying it and relax with the whole process. you will get the glimpse of meditation through the body, through the breath. So that is my whole effort with all of you. So if you're ready for that, just come to your mat. And when you are on your mat, just lie down in Shavasana. So you can follow me here. So simply you are lying down in Shavasana and bring the both hands on your stomach. And first found the natural rhythm of your breath. So slowly inhale and feel under the rib cage area is rising up. And exhale and feel under the rib cage area is going down. Inhale. Slowly exhale. Allow your breath to relax. And bring your whole awareness around your belly. A satisfying breath. This is a yogic answer to stress, anxiety, depression. All are there. Yoga gives the alternative way to work on them through the breath. All right, so from here, slowly bend your left knee, interlock the finger over the left knee here, and hold. Just relax here. Take a deep breath into your diaphragm without any noise. Inhale and exhale. Slowly bring your forehead towards your knees with exhalation as much as comfortable. Inhale back. Exhale. Again, forehead towards the knee. Pavan Muktasana. Inhale. Slowly exhale. Inhale back. Exhale. One more time. Inhale back. And exhale. Slowly forehead towards the knee. Now inhale back. And exhale, take the right leg down onto the floor. And again, check your breath. Inhale slowly. Exhale slowly. Now slowly opposite side. Bend the left knee, interlock the finger over the left knee here. Inhale. Exhale, forehead towards the knee. Inhale back. Exhale. Again up. No forcing. Inhale back. Exhale up. Inhale back. Exhale up. One more time, inhale back. And exhale up. Now inhale, take the head down. And exhale, straighten the leg again. And relax. Check your breath. Slowly inhale. Slowly exhale. Be present with the body. Be present with your breath. Now slowly here, bend the both knees and lift your leg up, any leg which you feel good in the starting, and hold the back of the thigh. Now inhale, straighten the leg. Exhale down. We are working on the knee. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. A gentle inhalation and leg up. A gentle exhalation, leg down. One more time. Inhale and exhale down. Now, for a moment, close your eyes. Put your both hands on the belly. Check your breath. Every breath is going deeper and deeper towards your pelvis. And slowly exhale. Hold the opposite side. Again here, inhale, leg up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Be present with the stretch and exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. One more time. Inhale up and exhale down here. Now, again, knee bent, both hands on the belly. Take a deep breath and gently exhale. Stay present with the breath. All right, from here, slowly take the both hands down. And when we inhale, both hands will go back and our pelvis will lift up. So inhale, gentle and easy. Exhale down. Beautiful. Inhale up. Exhale down. We are releasing the tension from the back area and shoulder area. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. One more time. Inhale up and exhale down. Now again, for a moment, still the body and allow the breath to move deeper, to heal you, to nurture you. And relax with the whole process. Now both hands by the side, like T-shape, and bring the both knee towards the chest. Now inhale and exhale. Bring the both knee to down, any side you feel comfortable, left or right. Now again, inhale up, exhale down. Look to the opposite side. Inhale up, Exhale to the other side. Inhale up. Exhale to the opposite side. Inhale up. Exhale to the other side. Inhale up. Exhale to the another side. Continue. Inhale up. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more time. Inhale up. Exhale to the other side. Inhale up. Exhale to the another side. So release the stiffness from the lower back area. Now slowly inhale, come back. And exhale, feet touch the ground. Now, still aware about your breath. Now, one more time here. Interlock your fingers and bring the hands up. So hold entire back and same time on the shoulder. We are going to work to release the stiffness. Inhale up. Exhale down. Very good. Inhale up. Aware about the breath. Exhale down. Inhale up. Enjoy this movement and exhale down. Like how your body is moving. Appreciate it. Inhale. Exhale. One more time. Inhale. Exhale. Now both hands on the belly again. Close your eyes. Relax. Beautiful. Now slowly turn on your stomach. And from here, both hands by the side of chest. Just simply inhale, lift the heart up, Bhujangasana. Forcing, no forcing at all. And exhale, come onto your knee and relax in child pose, Balasana. So from here, inhale, come up. Exhale, slowly go down on your belly. Inhale, Bhujangasana. Exhale, slowly back to the child pose here. So just here, take a moment, relax yourself, check your body, check your breath, and slowly come up to a sitting position. Any position you feel comfortable, and check your body, check your breath, how you are feeling with all of this. With the closed eyes, paying attention to the breath. Now join your palms. And with a gratitude in the heart for the body and for this movement and this relaxation and this presence in this moment, we will celebrate with one Om. Inhale. Love yourself, appreciate yourself, and thank you. Thank you, all of you, and thank you, Vikramji. Thank you, Simranji.
Thank you, Deep Kumarji. I'm very inspired to see the yoga postures that you demonstrated. I'm sure audience will be benefited. The concept of breath, body, and mind that you focused. And I especially loved the way you always were making people aware that check your breath, enjoy every moment, appreciate your postures, and be in present. Rather, with this way, indeed, all eight limbs of yoga were present when you were performing asanas. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Vikram.
On behalf of United Consciousness, I thank Mr. Deep Kumar for coming onto the platform of United Consciousness. Thank you so much. It's my privilege to welcome our next guest, Shri Subodh Tiwari ji, who was born in the yogic atmosphere at Kaivalya Dhama, Lonavala. At a young age, he received spiritual initiations from Swami Digambar ji, the director and spiritual head of Kaivalya Dham Yoga Institute, and began yoga practices under the guidance of his father. He pursued higher education in Bombay in law and a diploma in human resource management, and is presently pursuing the master's degree in human resource management. In 1992, he completed his certificate course in yoga. He joined as the administrator of the Sadatgupt Yogic Hospital and Healthcare Center, and also shouldered the responsibility of administration of the institute implementing improved system. He initiated and coordinated programs to train school teachers in yoga of Navodaya School Kendra Vidyalayas and for schools in the state of Maharashtra. He was the coordinator on behalf of the institute for the scheme of promotions of yoga in schools by the Minister of Human Resource Development. He was also the coordinator of the schemes of school health under the Department of Ayush, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. He has been organizer and convener of various international conferences organized by Kaivalya Dhama, Lonavala. He has spoken at various national and international conferences. He visited the countries like USA, Canada, Macau, Mauritius, Germany, France, and Italy to conduct yoga workshops. He is also the secretary of the Lonavala Citizen Forum. His goal is to qualitatively enhance the life of an individual through the practice of yoga and enhance the quality of environment through human efforts. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Shri Subodh Tiwari ji.
My namaskars and pranam to all of you. Let's start with the Shanti part. Please close your eyes, feel your breath. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karvavahai Tejasvina Vadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So good morning to all of you, and I thank the team of United Consciousness to have invited me to this global congregation to spread the message of love, peace, and harmony through this conclave. I have a topic assigned, and that is a very interesting one: spirituality and acceptance. Something which is very close to where I belong, because I come from Kaivalya Dham in Lonavala, an institution which is going to complete its 100 years started in 1924, and 100 years, a century is a long time. And it has blended, synthesized the tradition of yoga with the experiential aspect, the scientific aspect. So we say where yoga tradition and science meet. And the topic of spirituality and acceptance goes to the very root of this experiential zone, what we are to see in next, say, 10 minutes we have. Swami Kuvalanandaji, our founder, always emphasized on the aspect of understanding the philosophy properly. But his greater emphasis always was on ensuring that one is able to practice what he understands as philosophy. So this short talk, I will start with reading out a very important quote from Swami Kuvalanandaji, and all of you should listen to it carefully because this was a yogi and a scientist. And he says, I quote, very often philosophical gymnastics is mistaken for spiritual knowledge. It is to be remembered, however, that no intellectual conviction or philosophical training will take an individual even a whit nearer to the Lord. Practical experiences can definitely be made possible through the psychophysiological practices of yoga. So friends, coming straight to the topic, spirituality is an experiential zone. It is to be in that zone more than there is a process of spirituality. Many a times people confuse this word spirituality with religion. And I often tell people whom I meet or when I discuss that religion or faith is like a small well or a lake. And spirituality, the principle of spirituality, is like a vast ocean where probably you can have all the lakes come in and still there would be place for thousands more. So it's such a concept where it is unites everyone, and I say it is all united, and spirituality is united consciousness. The synonym to all of this conclave, the organizers which we have. But it is true that spirituality is a vast space where you have the possibility of asking a question to yourself, who am I? It is knowing one's self better. Because what happens is, this is a zone where you are lifted up from your animalistic or mammalistic brain to your human consciousness, human brain. And only when you have that journey above can you pose these questions to yourself, which are very spiritual in nature, which are very engraving in nature, which are very important, more than the mundane things which we do in life, like who am I? A relevant question, and pursuing those answers through one's own experience. That is, experience is an underlining word. Swami Kuvalanandaji did a study. We had one person who used to go in samadhi at Kaivalidham, and there was another person who was made to go into hypnosis. And in the scientific lab, we tried to study what is the difference between this altered state of consciousness, which is induced as hypnosis, and something which is achieved as a part of meditation, as samadhi. We put various stimuli and we recorded like cold water, a pin pricking, the skin galvanic resistance, and the results, scientific results, were the person who was put into passively put into hypnosis, though externally did not show too much of reaction, but the body represented through physiological parameters like increase in heart rate, skin drawing more blood circulation. But the person who was in state of samadhi, his physiological state did not alter with the stimuli. So friends, spirituality is about being in that zone and not necessarily trying to do things to be in that zone. Acceptance, when you relate the word, is so important. It is an inherent ingredient which helps you to go into that zone of spirituality. They say that in a spiritual path one should avoid expectation but concentrate on acceptance. As Maharishi puts it, one of the niyamas, 5 niyamas, Saut Santosh Tava Swadhyaya Ishwar Pranidhan, the concept of santosha, contentment, is very important to understand relating to the principles of acceptance. One needs to develop an attitude of contentment, of acceptance, but at the same time, one has to understand that acceptance and tolerance is not the same. That is very important distinction. Acceptance is being willful and fully satisfied with what you perceive, and therefore the acceptance or the whole understanding of what you agree to is complete. It closes the circle. Whereas tolerance is not willful. Tolerance can be forced. So when you are able to develop the inherent quality in your own being in the spiritual paradigm of santosha, contentment and acceptance, because only when you have ability to understand it completely, when avidya, the awareness increases, the ignorance goes away. When you have the element of Ishwar Pranidhana, ability to let go, that is when acceptance happens. And it is bedrock of spiritual experiences. Because otherwise, one desire leads to other. And it manifests in growing and growing and growing desires. Therefore, friends, the capability, the perspective, the principles of acceptance in terms of relation to the santosha, the element of Ishwar Pranidhan, is very important. And please ensure that you are able to distinguish the tolerance part and the acceptance part. Acceptance is willful. It is through a concerted understanding of Chintana, Manana, Shravana, all combined together. And therefore, the principles of spirituality or spiritualism are very, very related in terms of the principle of acceptance. And like I said, spirituality is more about being, more about the experiential zone. We have a lot of popular yoga practices. But please remember that Maharishi Patanjali's definition of yoga primarily resolves into taking an individual into the spiritual realms. It deals with chitta and sharira. The body experiences are just a part of this whole process. Therefore, once we know that our aim, our end is to become a better human being, to get those spiritual experiences through the principles of like acceptance and vairagya, then we understand that our journey becomes more meaningful, and it is far focused on a much deeper end than what we can just see as human beings. Finally, I will just say one thing again. I reiterate what Swamiji in essence said, that practice, practice, practice. Understand the philosophy, but ensure that you are able to practice, then it will manifest into spiritual experience. I remember lines of Tulsidas who says, Kam krodh mad lobh ki jab tak tan mein khan, kya murkh kya pandit, dono ek saman. So friends, the differentiation is understanding all these philosophies and manifesting those experiences through your practices. So I thank again Vikrant, Dr. Vikrant and the team to have invited me here, and it's always a pleasure to be with you. Best of luck. Keep doing the good work. We are always there for you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, respected Subodhji. And whenever I listen to you, it reminds me of Bhagavad Gita when Lord Krishna says that the old yogis are born in the houses of wise and enlightened beings. So you are born in a family where such enlightened people were there. So you are really blessed. My congratulations for 100 years going to be for Kaivalya Dham. Nation has been nourished by the philosophy of Swami Kuvlyananda ji also, and whole Kaivalya Dham family. I loved your speech. You mentioned such a beautiful quote that philosophical gymnastic is not spiritual knowledge. The experiential zone you mentioned, and you differentiated very importantly that spirituality is not religion, it's well, and that is ocean. And then you said that united consciousness is knowing yourself. You mentioned about the scientific experiment where samadhi, in the state of samadhi, physiological state does not get disturbed out of anything because the person is in the zone of spirituality. You beautifully differentiated between accepting things rather than having expectations, having the importance of santosha. You clearly differentiated between, which was very important, acceptance and tolerance. Some acceptance is willfully satisfying, comes out of Shravan, Manan and Nididhyasanam. And tolerance, you said it is forced. And you said that acceptance comes when avidya goes and Ishwar Pranidhana comes. And then with acceptance and vairagya, person goes into the spiritual zone as Patanjali defined as yoga. And you finally enlightened us saying that not only philosophy, it's practice, practice, practice with philosophy leads to supreme. We are really honored and blessed. You always bless us with your presence. Thank you very much, Subodhi.
On behalf of United Consciousness, I thank Shri Subodh Tiwari ji to come on to the platform of United Consciousness and share his views. Thank you so much. Science and spirituality are the two sides of the same coin, where science is aimed to uncover the deepest spiritual truth and spirituality is searching for the cause behind the scientific facts. Both are finding the hidden laws of nature, the higher power that created everything. Physical scientists are gazing at the stars through powerful telescopes and listening to radio waves, while spiritual scientists are gazing at the inner stars and listening to the inner music. So let's unfold these mysteries with our experts in this panel discussion on the topic Spirituality and Science. Our next panelist is from Philippines, Mr. Guido Tescher. He is doctorate from Albert Ludwig University Freiburg, and he is a high school teacher and church employee teaching at the Francis Gymnasium in Lingen and study seminar Meepen. He has also done missionary missions in Philippines. He is the editor and yoga teacher. He has learned yoga teacher training from Yoga Vidya in Hornbad, Minberg. He is co-worker in the team editorial, advertising production at Yoga Vidya, seminar guide teaching numerous yoga classes and taking yoga seminars. He teaches German at the language school My Language Cafe in Cebu City. He is also a freelance and editor of several books of Sukadevji and Yoga Vidya, commentary on the Hatha Yoga, Pradipika, etc. He studied Catholic theology and philosophy at the Albert Ludwig University Freiburg and doctoral studies in New Testament exegesis work in Hebrews published in 2007. In the panel, we also have with us Ms. Li Wei Cheng. She's an intuitive healer, certified holistic health counselor and body work therapist with over 25 years of experience in the field of natural and holistic healing. Her practice in Qigong and Tai Chi began in the temple in Singapore with her mother during her adolescence. She was initiated into transcendental meditation in 1975. She has combined her innate abilities in healing with personal mystical experiences and academic studies of the phenomena and practices. Her certification include accredited undergraduate programs in cross-cultural healing, creative writing, language for healing, massage therapy, vibrational medicine, Reiki mastery, and magnified healing. She is presently writing and developing the concepts, themes, and coordinating the establishments of healing center in the Pacific Rim. Our next panelist is Dr. Gaurang Joshi, an international Ayurveda physician and expert Ayurveda skin specialist. He is director in Atharva Multi-Speciality Ayurveda Hospital, Cancer Research Center, and president of International Cirrhosis Foundation. He is also director in International School of Ayurveda, Columbia, and adjunct faculty, Hindu University of America, USA. Dr. Joshi is an international blog writer for many international websites. He has presented many papers in national and international conferences on dermatology and oncology research. He was invited by many international universities as a guest speaker like University of Indonesia, University of Tel Aviv, Israel, Global Cancer Summit 2015 at Bangalore, and many others. He was awarded with Excellent Service Award in 2017 by Vishwa Ayurveda Parishad, Ayush Kamal Bhushan Award for Excellence in Ayurveda Dermatology by Trinity Group, and Ministry of Ayush Gujarat, Healers of India Award by Network 18 CNBC and Apollo Hospital and New Delhi for outstanding contribution in rural India healthcare. Today in the panel we have with us Dr. Shiva Nair, who is an uro-oncologist in Hamilton, New Zealand. He is the clinical director for the urology department at Waikato Hospital. He has travelled across multiple cities and countries for his training. He has his publication on cancer and non-cancer topics. He has previously tutored at University of Otago and University of Auckland Medical School and remained active in teaching and training his students and residents. Dr. Nair remains ardent student of Vedanta. He was taught Guru Parampara by the Chinmay Mission and currently he is studying several texts including Upanishads. He is active in Hindu Swamsevak Sangh in New Zealand at the local level. His primary goal is to understand the self-knowledge and spread it to as many as possible. Today's panel discussion will be moderated by Dr. Vikrant Singh Tobar, convener United Consciousness. Dr. Tomer is an acknowledged trainer, academician, scholar, writer, and a management consultant. He is a freelance trainer and served the cabinet ministers of state, MLAs, police officers, and tycoons of the business world. His aim and objective is universal brotherhood and happiness through harmonizing the knowledge from the ancient scriptures into our lives. So I welcome all our guests for panel discussion.
Namaste, friends from all parts of the world watching us. I invite on behalf of everybody our respected guests today. Namaste. I request all of you to kindly switch on their mic so that whenever is needed you can speak. If there is no sound behind you, otherwise you can switch on whenever you need to speak. So dear friends, we had three panelists. We had actually four panelists today, but Dr. Guado could not join us because there is a tornado in Philippines and it's a huge tornado. So he could not join us because of that. But we remember him and acknowledge his presence also today. Hope God will keep everybody safe. When it comes to tornado, I was just thinking that when the high winds goes into the warm tropical oceans, they get heated and they goes up. To fill that cavity, the colder air goes in and the tornado becomes. So it is the scientific understanding of tornado. But our topic of discussion today is spirituality and science. So how does spirituality sees? I will come to Dr. Shiva Nair. You have read Vedanta and medicine both. How does spirituality sees Dr. Guado's absence today? Science says because of the tornado, and there is a reason why the tornado came, and because of the tornado, there was no connection, and because there was no connection, he is not here. How does spirituality sees his absence today? Dr. Shiva Nair.
Namaste, namaste to everyone who's listening. Look, I think the spirituality and science is the same. This concept, if you do both, I did both academic research in neurophysiology and neuropharmacology and then medicine. The concept of discovering or the process of doing science is very similar to spirituality. The spirituality, if you look at the Vedas and Vedanta and Upanishads, the concept of coming up with a hypothesis and going systematically, defining a question, answering the question, and building on the experience of others, which is exactly the same in science. The tools are different and the objectives are different, but the fundamental process is same.
Thank you. Dr. Shiva Nair said that more or less science and spirituality are same because the basics are same in that. I'll come to Dr. Li Ching. Dr. Ching,
I think.
how do you see spirituality and science? Is there some overlap, or if it is not, what is the difference?
Thank you, Dr. Vikram Singh Ji. Such a pleasure to be here with you in United Consciousness. I would like to refer to your first question is how do we see the occurrence of the tornado and spirituality and science? Because this is beautiful to observe you having that consciousness of putting together all the different aspects, the different matrices of realities that we bring together. And so for you to allude that, I said, aha. So he's actually seeing the same thing as I am about the spiritual message, shall we, about the tornado. So the way I see it is that as the world is also spinning this way, in a lot of chaos, when the tornado, there is a center. There's a center of calm. It's the eye of the storm, where we in spirituality would want to attain so that we can remain in the center and allow the tornado of chaos to swirl around us, which is what I'm seeing happening in many parts of the world as we are observing too within ourselves and externally. So in this case, he represents to me what is being in the outside world and him holding the space for the centeredness, since he was supposed to be with us in united consciousness. And he still is with us in united consciousness. So we want to, and this is how I see it, and that's why I want to embrace him in this conclave here. That's so beautiful. You and your team are super efficient, I must say, and I really appreciate that because it keeps everything in alignment, us in the center. So spirituality and science, I see, is one and the same. For example, we are discussing spirituality, we are sharing love, and I loved Geshe Damdul's mirth and joy coming through, and also Shubdi Ji Tawari, yes, his clarity, and I just enjoyed that coming through technology, through science, and through the cyberspace, and all of us sharing a sacred space together. So my view is that there's no difference, right? That's we are here together spiritually, beyond our physical selves, beyond even this hologram that we see ourselves on the screen, is the vibration. It's the soul energy that we are coming through with that.
Thank you.
So
So,
that's what I
Dr.
see
Leaching
it
said that it's the central calm of the tornado, and the world is facing tornado day and night, but you need to keep your central calm, and that is the essence of spirituality. Be calm irrespective of the situation. You carry your own weather. Perfect. So let me come to Dr. Gaurang Joshi from India. Dr. Gaurang, Ayurveda is heard to be a science which keeps us centered and assures the body mind balance. So, how Ayurveda sees the overlap between science and spirituality? Because I guess Ayurveda is at the threshold of both science and spirituality together. If you can throw some light for our audience.
Good morning and namaste to all. Thank you, Dr. Vikram Singh ji and Swami Suryananda Amedio Bianchi from Italy, who has suggested my name for this great conclave. Personally, I seen there is no difference between science and spirituality. Because if you believe in science, right, you need to have faith, right? And the same way, unless you have faith, the science, anything cannot be proved. Science want to prove spirituality itself giving you a life example. What Ayurveda says, Ayurveda is what? Ayu means life and Veda means knowledge. This is the science and it's the science how to live the life. Now there are four fundamentals of life. Why we are on the earth. Dharma, Artha, Kama and Moksha. Right? And spirituality, what spirituality is doing? It's connecting Dharma and Artha. Right? Dharma, Artha, Kama and Moksha. Right? Ultimate goal is the moksha. Right? But if you experiencing the chaos going surrounding worlds since last 2 years in the name of COVID, why we survived? Those who are surviving, they are having a good spiritual soul. There is a definition of health in Ayurveda. Samadosha samagnishta samadhatu malakriya prasanna atmendriya mana swasta iti bhidiyate. What does it mean? Science, Ayurveda is the science of three dosha, sapta dhatu, mala means your waste products. But above all, it's a physical health. Prasanna atmendriya. Prasanna atma. What is prasanna atma? Means your soul must be happy. If you are living in the happiness inside you, that is the real spiritual concept of your life. By helping others, by enjoying nature. Don't go against the nature. Dr. Vikram Singh, I am doing regular live on my Facebook page since last 2 years to enhance the spirituality and spiritual power among the people to fight this pandemic. You know, the bad outcomes of this pandemic, I have noticed that is mental status of the people. Right? And I provided them that believes in Ayurveda. Ayurveda is the complete holistic science, right? Ayurveda is a science and spirituality itself a science, right? We don't need to bifurcate both of this. If you
Okay.
believe in science and you definitely believes in spirituality, without spirituality, it cannot be possible
Thank
to
you.
heal yourself.
Yes. Thank you, Dr. Joshi. Dr. Joshi rightly mentioned that he added one more dimension that Ayurveda says that we are spiritual souls, and Ayurveda aims at happy soul and a healthy body together. And he also added one more dimension to the discussion, as Madam Levi said, that there is a tornado in the world. Dr. Joshi said that there is a tornado inside you also. Your mind also
Yes.
creates a tornado. And Bhagavad Gita also said that mind is the best friend and the worst enemy. From where do we come? Dr. Shiva has already gone through his medical studies. So when we talk about science and spirituality, I don't know, you have learned a lot in that. How does spirituality and science sees about birth? What is the moment when spirit enters in the body? What science, how science sees it, and how spirituality sees it? You have gone through both. So how do we come into existence? And is there any overlap between science and spirituality in that? What happens at that moment that matter becomes sajiva, conscious? Over to you,
That's a
Dr.
very
Shiva.
interesting question, Vikramji. Look, as far as the science is concerned, the heartbeat of the fetus is when it is alive. And that occurs roughly about 8 weeks, between 6 to 8 weeks. Now, in terms of whether the fetus is survivable outside the mother's womb, that's considered to be viable that's considered 22 weeks or 23 weeks, depending on where you are. As far as the spirituality goes, that's a whole different question. I don't know what is the exact time frame in the uh, maternity journey where it's considered, but I think it's the first trimester from the Vedas, which is similar to where the heart rate is present. Um, yeah, there's no scientific what do you call measurement of how the first heartbeat occurs. That's a mystery. Why does a ball of cells suddenly start beating?
Perfect.
Not there yet.
So Dr. Shiva said that science has yet to discover some principles of spirituality that though science starts our journey from the heartbeat, when spirituality is considered that our journey in this life plan, in this earth plane starts, Dr. Wei Cheng Lee, what's your
Thank you. I'd
take on
like to pick up, thank you, what Dr. Shiva said, because I do fertility work and channel in the souls uh, for birthing. We actually see the matrix of the soul strands of the beings coming through. And the moment when the ovum and the spermatozoa come together, also, we understand there's a spark, a divine spark of life. And then there begins the human division of cells and mitochondria and so on. And so we definitely acknowledge that moment. And then also all the moments through a mortal life where Dr. Shubdi was saying that it has to be experiential. When these moments in life do we feel this elation, this bliss, this connection with the divine? Now, from my personal, I had a huge awakening of the Kundalini in 1990. And you were asking, Dr. Vikranji, what is the experiential experience, feeling in the body, like this whole tingling and awakening and light, seeing lights and alignment and knowingness and beyond that. So how is that translated to science? Which actually was my path, as my doctorate is in translating ancient wisdom into quantum science. So the qigong I teach is infinity. So we understand the sacred geometry of the infinite and the center line, which is the same as the sutratma, as we balance all the Ida Pingala and all the nadis coming together and going up to moksha. So that's the same as the central vessel and the governing vessel. Same. We are one people, and so that led me to the study of how do we link sacred science with ancient wisdom. And so this is a very wonderful topic to explore.
So thank you, Dr. Lee. She mentioned about, she says that spirituality sees it when the seed of male reaches to the female, and even that is also a spark. So there is a method in that randomness also. As they say, at times there is no chances, there is nothing called by chance, things are planned. And this is what she said, that though mother's womb has millions of possibility, but only we are born. So there may be some purpose of our birth in that regard. So this is how maybe spirituality sees. And she says that the infinity takes a finite birth for some time. So let's see what Ayurveda has to say. The question to you, Dr. Gorang, is we had a medical doctor, we have a spiritual practitioner, now you are an Ayurveda doctor. Enlighten us about how Ayurveda sees birth. When do we actually take birth? Is it the biological birth? Is birth? Is it the physical birth when we are actually taken out of mother's womb? Is birth? Or is it the spiritual birth? What she is saying is birth. When are we born actually?
Yes, very good question, Dr. Tomar. In Ayurveda, there is a Garbhini Paricharya is there. Garbhini. When a woman become pregnant, right, from day one, the journey of spirituality starts. Particularly, I'm sharing my personal experience. After 1.5 months, when the womb become alive, the mother will find all the activities of the kids taking place in her womb, right? Mother from day one to 9 months, she is experiencing this spiritual journey of the kid, right? Even I also noticed when my wife was pregnant, I experienced that journey, right? And after giving birth to a child, I noticed that from the birth, since 8 weeks, right? See, Ayurveda also believes that the Purva Janma, that the previous life that is alive since 8 weeks of the kid. I experienced in my daughter also that sometimes at night she was crying without a reason and so crying so deeply, right? There is no reason, and I experienced that. I experienced this for more than 8 weeks, and then she entered in our aura. That is our Joshi family aura, right? So Ayurveda, there is a Masanumas every month. Ayurveda gives importance of this, and now we are giving Garbha Sanskar. Why we are giving Garbha Sanskar? We just don't want that the physical healthy baby is coming up, not physical, but it should be a spiritual body, mind, and soul. That is the spirit of Ayurveda, and we want that the coming baby is coming with physical, mental, and spiritual well-being. So that's
Thank
a
you. Thank you,
very
Dr.
clear concept of Ayurveda.
Thank you. So Dr. Joshi said that there is some concept of sanskaras also that plays its role. And baby comes in the womb, even baby comes into the aura of the word he used of
Yes.
this new family, taking some past life sanskaras. Dr. Shiva, that makes discussion all the more interesting. Can the baby listen in the womb what science says? Can the baby feel in the womb? If baby can receive in the womb, what are the receptors and how does baby process it? What science says about it, Dr. Shiva? And you may
Namaste.
connect
Yes,
Vedanta also because you are a scholar of both.
yes. I was going to say the Atma is neither born nor dies, right? So, talking about the physical body only. Let's talk about the physical body.
Yes, yes. Thank you
Look,
for
yes,
making it more clear for us. Yes.
yeah. The body is receptive. Yes, correct. And even the science, we give maternal supplements, folic acid and iron tablets before and during. And yes, the baby does move inside. The baby does respond to stimulus. It is well known, and sounds, touch, warmth, emotions of the mother. It's all proven. If the mother is healthy state of mind, the baby is born in a much calmer state, and that's throughout the pregnancy. If a mother is distressed throughout the pregnancy, the baby is harmed and comes out distressed. And also, even if you're looking at physical level, the mother's diet, fetal alcohol syndrome is well known. If the mother has had a lot of alcohol during pregnancy, the baby is deformed. And even not even just the physical level, but at the mental and spiritual level, they are far behind their peers who are in a healthy home and a healthy pregnant mother. So definitely, 100%, the physical, as far as the physical being of the baby goes, even from first trimester onwards, everything is important.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Dr. Nair said that there is a huge overlay between science and sacred in this. I'll come to Dr. Lee. In case, as Dr. Nair said, that look, if there is some alcohol syndrome, there are some stimuluses. You see, in this present world, people don't have time for each other. They don't have even time for their own kids, and that's why there is a growing tendency not to have kids at all. But at times, if a child during the womb period or even in early life has a traumatic experience, as Dr. Shiva Nair said, body receives the emotions also. Now, whole world is listening to us. More than 92 countries are participating in this event. I want a specific answer from you, Dr. Lee. If, in case, knowingly or unknowingly, I have had a traumatic womb or earlier childhood experience, what two practical tips you would like to give me to have a fully functional life? because I can't control whatever has happened. So I want very practical tips to be executed from tomorrow, very specific, doable tips. Yeah.
Dr. Vikranji, you are tuning into my work. Absolutely. So my work is doing in utero trauma release.
Mhm.
So in that work, we actually do a meditation of following the energy, the etheric umbilical cord on a auric level. That was really nourishing or feeding the fetus at the time of development and where there might be trauma as well. So that actually links up to ancestral, familial, ancestral miasmas or predispositions, including sanskaras. So that's where it comes in. The soul has decided to take this on. And so the way we want to do it is reverse. It's like cancer or any imbalance. We want to reverse, we want to heal, we want to shine the light on it. So the tips is we want to bring in our breath with the light and shine the light upon that trauma, right? Subconscious or not. And we want to then trace that etheric umbilical cord to the core and to the center, the Manipura, or we could call it the Tantien, the lower Tantien, and to the kidneys, because this is where we call it in kidney Jing and TCM, where people hold their fears. And so where it releases the cortisol, right, and adrenaline. So speaking on from an anatomy point of view. So here we want to release. We want to use the light of transformation, and breathe it out. And so that's one way of doing it, and especially at this time,
Yes.
which is
And
really
maybe quickly in one or two lines, any other tip that you want to give? Very practical tip, doable like you gave first. One more tip that comes to your mind?
okay. So we know that in terms of frequency medicine, the research I've done is that we talk about COVID, the virus. It resonates in frequency medicine 5.5 hertz, and it dies at 25.5. So at a higher frequency of being, joy, love, and gratitude, compassion, which has about 150 hertz, that can actually override. But we're so much encased in the fear that we actually have to raise the consciousness and raise the vibration of all the people that it is possible. We know that that's internal medicine, internal alchemy, and of course supported by all the protocols, vitamin C, D3,
Thank
K2,
you.
and all that, and all the other aspects of technology which we can use.
So,
Like what I'm wearing helps with that
okay.
viral infection. So we have to raise the vibration with more
Thank you.
love, more beauty, and more embracing, more universal consciousness.
Thank you, Dr. Lee. Now I'll come to Dr. Gaurang Joshi. Two practical tips for the audience of how Ayurveda scientifically mentioned, as you always been mentioning about mind, body, soul metrics. So how we can heal, foster, empower in these difficult times. What is two practical tips of Ayurveda which are scientific on its grounds?
See, I already told you about Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha, and then Sattvic, Rajasic, and Tamasic status of the mind. Right? To become 100% Sattvic is not possible, particularly. But my first tip is that accept the truth, accept the fact, right? And accept it in a Sattvic way. Don't be Tamasic. So my first tip is that avoid all the tamasic food, all the tamasic thoughts, all the tamasic media surrounding you, right? Love yourself.
Okay.
First, if you love yourself, then you will definitely help others. Then you will definitely love others. That
Perfect.
is the real spirituality,
Thank you.
right?
Thank you.
Then try to find out why you are here.
Thank you.
That death is fixed. Human body, it's the death of a human body, not a soul. Right? So accept this fact. This is my second tip. that accept this fact one day we all are transforming ourselves from one body to another body.
Thank you. Thank you.
Right?
Dr. Joshi?
So accept this fact, and definitely you will enjoy your life, because Ayurveda always believes that to remain physical fit is not the status of your healthfulness. So
Thank you.
if you have healthfulness with mindfulness, with lovefulness, then definitely you will enjoy your life.
Thank you very much. Uh, Dr. Shiva Nair. Dr. Saab, what do you think will be your tips for the audience? Where does Vedanta and medicine meets together? Any tips from those zones?
Yes. I was thinking, if we attach and detach, attach to the truth principle, the soul, the Atma, the Brahman, and detach from the temporary, the body, the environment, and everything else is temporary. In relation to you, your true nature, Satchidananda, is bliss, eternal blissfulness. Attached to that, everything else is temporary. COVID or nothing, there'll be something else tomorrow or day after. You just have to be truthful, attached to the happiness, and then within your happiness, everything else will be happiness, like the tornado. If you're calm inside, everything else becomes calm. If you're happy inside, everything else will be happy outside. The external circumstances will always keep on changing. You can always be trying to change the outside, but if you change your inside or your understanding, everything else comes naturally.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Shivanaya. So, dear friends watching us from different parts of the world, we had an amazing panel discussion from all distinguished doctors from different fields here. And we understood that how Dr. Lee mentioned that there is a tornado around, but the central calm is what is important, being aligned to the metrics of soul. And she said that the birth, this is how we come with a divine spark. There is a method in that madness also. And she said that when we take birth, it is the infinity that takes a finite birth. And even if you had some of the problems during that birth trauma or any trauma in life, she mentions about two things you need to do. First is align yourself with the breath, with that light. Go to that etheric umbilical cord, that eternal, invisible umbilical cord that connects you to the source, and then identify and see that problem and heal it with meditation. It works. Second, she said that the frequency of joy and love is a vibration that kills all COVID viruses. So be joyful and be happy. 5.25 hertz, she said, that the even the virus dies. So thank you very much for that contribution. Then we had Dr. Guran. He said that Dr. Gurung from Ayurveda side, he said that Kam, Arth, Dharm, Moksha, we are spiritual soul and we need to be happy soul and a healthy body. And for that, we need to align with the nature. And he said that there is a tornado around, there is a tornado inside also. And that tornado may have started when we took birth because there are some birth sanskaras. Maybe we are born with the tornadoes inside us.
Yes.
But then there is a way out of it, and he said the way out is garb sanskaras, which are there to assure your mind, body, mind, and soul metrics to be aligned. For that, he gave two tips for us. First is acceptance of the facts of life. He mentioned that accept the truth of death. Even when you don't resist, energy flows. He said, avoid every tamasic food or media. Love yourself, but that acceptance should be sattvic. Know your purpose of life and your purpose of being. These things will certainly elevate you. Then we had Dr. Shiva. He said that science and spirituality are same. In a way, they both discover. They both have hypotheses that define, they answer, they learn from experiences of each other, and they build upon each other. They are very scientific in its own ways. And he said that science says that when the heart beats, then the child gets alive. There are many evidences. And he also mentioned that then baby comes in the womb, baby is all receptive to the tablets, to all the stimuli. Even what is the state of mother's mind and even alcohol, all these syndromes can be reflected in the body. But we are not the victims in life, we are born to be victors. And for that, he said, attach yourself to the permanent. What he said is truth and Satchit Anand. He said that then, whatever is the situations around, you will be fortified from within. And he said that in COVID, in a way, he said that you can be logged, but you will not be down, because getting logged is a situation, but feeling down is a choice. So once you align yourself with the truth, then you choose to be happy, you choose to be enlightened. And science is the exploration of truth, and spirituality is the experience of truth. And both revolve around the truth. Thank you. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you very much. Namaste. Namaste.
Namaste.
Imam Deenji was born on 15th of August 1976 at household of Akbar Khan, Jaisalmer, Rajasthan. Belonging to the royal family of musicians called Alam Khana Gharana, Manganiyars community, who are professional singers and musicians who traditionally performed for their jajmans, also known as patrons, Rajput families. He plays khartal, which are 4 pieces of wood and is played by hand, traditionally made from shisham wood or teak, since this produces the required rhythm or the best of the sounds possible. This instrument is played by Manganiyars and the Langa communities in Jaisalmer and Barmer. Used during religious and social celebrations, the instrument derives its name from the Hindi words khara, meaning hand, and tala, meaning rhythm, rhythm of the hand. He is the artistic director of Ustad Arba Music Group and has performed in many national and international folklore festivals all over the world. He has been working with many Indian as well as international researchers, students, anthropologists, authors, and musicologists for their projects of study and research in the field of folk music, art, culture, traditions, and professional performers. He is also honored by Vice President of Croatia for Best Performance in the 42nd International Folklore Festival. Welcome, Imam Deenji.
Namaskar. My name is Imam Din. I am from Jaisalmer, Rajasthan, India. I am artistic director of the Ustad Arba Music and Dance Group and also co-artistic director of Rajasthani Heartbeat. I play the kartal. It's a piece of wood, 4 pieces of the wood I learned from my family. I would like to request you to join United Consciousness Conclave on 18th and 19th December 2021.
Thank you so much, Imam Deenji. It was really interesting to hear about the folklore music of Jaisalmer, Rajasthan.
It's my pleasure to welcome and introduce our next guest, Ms. Kirin Savitakova from Slovakia. Since childhood, her goal was to understand the harmony between humans and nature. She studied ecology in Germany. Her father is a great yoga teacher in Slovakia, and he introduced yoga to her life at the age of 13. She attended the yoga teacher training held by the Slovakia Yoga Association and did her diploma in 2020. Her yoga teacher, Geza Tempkek, and the violinist Ivo Sedlak discovered that if it accompanied by inspired light music, yoga practice can become even more powerful. They developed a system using mantras, pranayama, and relaxation called Savita Yoga. Together, they started a series of Savita Yoga workshops in Paraguay. In 2010, they started an NGO called Savita Yoga International. She visited India many times and stayed in Rishikesh in the ashram Swami Rama Sadhaka Grama and got initiated into mantra meditation. Today, she will be teaching us a Japa Japa meditation as taught by the Himalayan tradition. So, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together to welcome Ms. Kirin Savitakova.
Namaste, dear participants. I would like to invite you now to settle down, sit down comfortably. You can use a cushion, you can use a chair, depending on your condition. The main point is to sit upright with your trunk straight. Now you can close your eyes. And step by step, relax your whole body. Starting from your head, neck, your arms and hands, your trunk, your legs, and your feet, until the whole body is relaxed. Now focus your attention on your breath. Feel the gentle touch of air moving in through your nostrils all the way to the lungs, and then flowing out from the lungs through the nostrils again. Feel how your breath is becoming slower and deeper. Let it flow smoothly. And now try to listen to your breath. Try to hear that little noise the air is creating while entering and leaving your body. And now imagine that this little noise is actually a mantra. Every time you are inhaling, there is actually the mantra so, which is being created by the air. And when you are exhaling, it is a silent hum that is created by the air. So with every inhalation, you are pronouncing so just by doing that inhalation. And with every exhalation, you are pronouncing hum just by doing that exhalation. And now focus on this. How you, with every breath, how you repeat the mantra so hum. A very powerful mantra. A mantra that actually means I am that. And by that, we mean supreme consciousness. And so every time we are inhaling and exhaling, we are getting closer to the united consciousness, to the supreme consciousness. So hum. Now you can deepen your breath very slowly. Become aware of your whole body. feel how you feel after this very short meditation exercise. Feel the calmness in your mind, the calmness in your whole body. You can move slightly. Change your position if necessary. And I would like to thank you for joining me for this short meditation today. And please remember that this is one of the ways how you can raise your energy level and get connected to Supreme Consciousness. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Kiranji. We are really honored how you weaved the meditation around Soham, united consciousness. I'm sure that audience from different parts of the world will learn a lot from this meditation. When you inhale, so, exhale, hum, japa japa. I'm sure that world over will inhale, united, exhale in consciousness. This is what is the message we also want to give to the world. Thank you very much for honoring us with your presence. Thank you.
On behalf of United Consciousness, I thank Ms. Kareem Sevetakova for coming on to the platform of United Consciousness. Thank you so much.
Uday Deshpande is passionate about Malkhamb. He believes that Malkhamb is an excellent fitness sport to improve physical and psychological fitness, teaches new and challenging skills. Malkhamb helps with flexibility and strength along with agility and focus, so people from various spheres of life, from dancers to actors and other platforms, can perform better by practicing techniques of Malkhamb. There are various techniques and styles of Malkhamb like rope Malkhamb, pole Malkhamb, bottle Malkhamb, hanging Malkhamb and weapon Malkhamb. Committed to promotion and propagation of Malkhamb,
The knowledge is one which liberates. Akshara Kids Academy is a mission to enlighten the little noble souls. It is an initiative to provide the virtuous knowledge to kids by inculcating Vedantic learning pattern with modern teaching techniques, with a vision to provide a world-class education focusing on the key human values of harmony and love, ethos and wisdom, conduct and ethics. We value education which provides enlightenment. We value making positive contribution to society. We value in child enrichment. We value boredom-free education system. Our academic structure is based on Panchakosha model, focusing on all 5 koshas. We focus on 8 limbs model of yoga. We provide modern education by focusing on motor skills, brain architecture, emotional intelligence, memory development, and logical reasoning. In God we trust. Life is a yajna. My first step towards enlightenment. When there is meditation, there is no need of medication. One track mind by mantras. Respect for our roots. My nation. is my pride. Yajna towards Ma Prakriti, one in all and all in one. Family that lives together, eats together. The two pillars of my life, mother, father. The pillars of my success, my guru. India lives in me, unity in diversity. One conscious, one being. Akshara Kids Academy strives to shape the future of unprivileged and underprivileged kids having urge of learning. Kindly lend your hand too in this yajna.
Deshpande is passionate about Malkhamb. He believes that Malkhamb is an excellent fitness sport to improve physical and psychological fitness, teaches new and challenging skills. Malkhamb helps with flexibility and strength along with agility and focus, so people from various spheres of life, from dancers to actors and other platforms, can perform better by practicing techniques of Malkhamb. There are various techniques and styles of Malkhamb like rope Malkhamb, pole Malkhamb, bottle Malkhamb, hanging Malkhamb and weapon Malkhamb. Committed to promotion and propagation of Malkhamb, Udayji has conducted 182 demonstrations in 4 continents. He has also trained 330 players from 6 continents and 47 countries. Udayji has held various positions in different organizations across the world for promoting and spreading awareness about Malkhamb. He is the current secretary of Vishwa Malakhamb Federation since 2016. He was also invited to TEDx platform to speak on putting Malkhamb on world map in 2016. Udayji has also curated and executed the International Malakhamb Judging Certification course. Udayji has also organized lots of camps in 3 continents in 14 countries outside India, enrolling 200 and 500 students. Udayji has various achievements under his belt, including the prestigious Shiva Chhatrapati Award, Lifetime Achievement Award from Government of Maharashtra, and has conducted camps to include people from various walks of life, including visually challenged, and some of his students from Kamla Mehta Dadar School for the Blind performed Malkhamb in front of the Honorable President of India, late Shri APJ Abdul Kalam ji. Welcome, Udayji.
Begin with a performance on bottle Malkhamb, a square wooden base having 16 glass bottles, 4 stools bearing 1 bottle each, and Malkhamb on top of that. And the boys are ready to perform individual and pyramidal formation on bottle Malkhamb. एक साथ साफ धान, एक साथ सलामी, एक. The individual performance by Shantanu. Acute sense of balance, confidence and courage. The armpit balance known as Bagli and Teli. A breathtaking, thrilling and enchanting performance. Bani Kunji Pakad. At the height of 12 feet above the ground, just on the diameter of 1.5 inches, Padhastasana. A beautiful straddle L, Vistrita Padasana. And sitting on the top,
with the leg on the shoulder, Ekapada Shivasana. Wow. Lovely. And now the pyramid, the best example of team spirit and coordination. Balancing one's own weight, at the same time balancing the weight of the partner. Sachin in the front, Saga on his shoulder, Chandanu at the top, Rajat and Keval on the two sides in the position of Bajrang Pakad, the knee hold. But at the final position of pyramid on water mantra. Now, very smooth and synchronized movement. It's our sadhan. It's our namaste. Ek, two, three. Let's begin the performance of traditional ancient Indian physical culture, Mallakham. A simple wooden pole, about 8.5 feet above the ground, smooth, well polished, tapering at the top, and different acrobatic exercises and yogic postures are performed on that. Let's begin the performance. एक साथ सावधान, एक साथ सलाम, एक कदम पीछे, एक Sagar Vani, 4 times national champion, performing his individual competitive set on pole marker. Armpit balance and tail. One hand Mayurasana on top of the pole. Beautiful balance. Vistrita Padasana, the parallel, and sitting on the top with the leg on the shoulder, Ekapada Shivasana. Sitting catch. Sui Dora, passing the thread of the legs to the middle of the hands. And the shoulder plank. The toe balance, hold weight of the body just on the tip of the toes. And Bandhar Pakad, the monkey hold with dismount. Another interesting variety of Malkham is rope Malkham, a simple cotton rope with canvas coating, and different acrobatic exercises, yogic postures are performed on this 16 feet long cotton rope. Let's begin the performance. एक साथ सावधान, एक साथ नमस्ते, 1, 2, 3, 4, एक. We have Aditi Kavambedkar, 4 times national champion, performing on rope Malkham. Jump to straddle and mount, and the beautiful 180-degree split of the legs. Hold with the ankle joint, known as Conclave. A beautiful Natarajasana, the backward bend of the body. Hold with both the knee joints, Guru Pakad, and the plank. Straddle L. Shavasana, the position of a dead body. Bajrang Pakad, hold with the single knee joint, and beautiful back somersault, dismount. Lovely. Now let's see the pyramid on pole malkham and rope malkham. एक साथ सावधान, एक साथ नमस्ते, 1 2 3 4. pyramid नंबर 1 start. जय जय जी मल्लखाम वायु मल्लखाना धन्य संस्कृति रक्षक समस्त वेद पिता जय देव जय देव महाबली हनुमान प्रकट दर्शयिता मानस उल्लासिता जादु केवचिता जय देव जय देव गुरुपालम विकरागा धर्म विवेकता नल्ल युद्ध कुलदीपक देवी उत्साता जय देव जय देव राम रहीम येशु गुण सिख पदलिता सकला प्रसन्न वरदे मंगल जगत्राता जय देव जय देव. But open. That's the final position of pyramid on pole and rope malkham. Down. एक साथ सावधान, एक साथ नमस्ते, 1 2 3 4 1. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Udayji, for sharing your passion and knowledge about Malkhamb. We learnt a lot. Once again, thank you so much.
Uday Deshpande ji, gratitude from the side of United Consciousness. We are amazed to see the kind of demonstration these sadhakas demonstrated, the acute sense of balance, confidence, and courage. Doing Mayurasana on a Malkham is so much impossible to see, even because it is such a difficult asana. Bajrang Pakad, Pyramid Malkham, that toe balance, that Bandar Pakad, those girls 180-degree asanas, Natraj Asana, Garud Pakad, Shavasana on the rope. It's so amazing to see, and it shows how much of hard work has gone into it. Thank you very much for preserving this ancient art. It will motivate the world in years to come in self-control, discipline, courage, and balance. Thank you very much, respected Uday Deshpande ji. Thank you.
सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्.
This shloka means, may everyone be happy, may everyone be free from all diseases, may everyone see goodness and auspiciousness in everything, may none be unhappy or distressed. Om Shantihi, Shantihi, Shantihi. I am highly privileged to have this opportunity to present my gratitude to all those who have witnessed and blessed this event directly or indirectly. I believe that this is not the end, but the beginning of our journeys. The journeys towards the noble cause of removing the 14 divides rooted in human race and promoting harmonious and peaceful coexistence. Firstly, I thank the God for blessing us all in this conclave to take our first step towards the noble mission. I thank European Yoga Federation, Swami Suryananda Saraswati Ji, Ms. Amy Blesio, Ms. Emilia, Sarah, Danielia, Christine, and also thank the Spiritual Council in Africa. I owe my heartfelt thanks to our wonderful speakers, Ms. Valentina Cottony, Shri Geshela Ji from Tibet House, and Mr. Subodh Tiwari for sparing their valuable time for this event. I am thankful to our esteemed panelists, Dr. Wei Cheng Lee, Dr. Gaurang Joshi, Dr. Shiva Nair, Mr. Gyuro Tesho. I also thank our yoga expert, Mr. Deep Kumar, and meditation expert, Ms. Kirin Savitakova. I am also very grateful to our wonderful performers, Mr. Uday Deshpande, Mr. Imamuddin Khan. I owe my heartfelt thanks to Team Project Self USA, Shri Rajesh Rabindranath, Ms. Pavitra Srinivasan, Ms. Madhurika Arvind, Ms. Rashmi Kashi, Dr. Prasad Akavu, Dr. Vijay Reddy, Ms. Gina Suresh, Mr. Karthik Palamalai, Mr. K.L. Alexander, Mr. Venkat Sriram Lalu, Ms. Deepthi Nair, Ms. Avneet Bad, Mr. Suresh, Mr. Devaraju, Ms. Deepa Arun. I thank Team Project Self Bharat, Dr. Vikrant Singh Tomar, Dr. Shweta Tomar, Aditi Meghna Mausan Prachi, Mr. J.S. Juneja, Dr. Paramji Juneja, Rishi Vishalji Arnav, Aditya Ashwin, Rati Dharmendra Ji Uday, Pooja Ji, Bharti Ji, Dipti Ji, Amrish Ji, Mrinalini Ji, Khushbu Ji, Jimmy Ji, Mr. Sanjay Rajput, Ms. Simran Reel. I also thank two new members of Project Self India, Ms. Maria Lightwala and Ms. Simran Raghavani. I am very much thankful to our wonderful audience and all the visible and invisible sources blessing us.